So, welcome to podcast number 4, Neville Drew Shand, CDL Platinum. Uh, what I wanted to discuss in episode 4 was when you get a tour and when you're dispatch or you get a load, if you're a commercial driver with cargo. What do you do initially? Like, dispatch reaches out to you, tells you where you're going, here's the load, or here's the tour that I need you to go on. My expertise being in the entertainment industry, like I mentioned earlier about signal flow, once the dispatcher of your company sends you the tour manager's information, the minute you get the tour manager's information is probably the minute you need to either text or call or at least touch base via email or some form with that tour manager, because ultimately that is your point person when it comes to that tour. Doesn't matter who the tour is or whatever, or how long, if it's 2 weeks out. And even if things change in my industry with the entertainment coach industry, and we're in 2022 and the industry is like running on all cylinders right now. In fact, we're turning down tours. It's so busy, and the changes that go on in our industry where, you might be with one tour and then a week later, all of a sudden leasing changes things around and the Rubik's Cube, I call it the Rubik's Cube moves. And now instead of being on Dave Matthews, you're on KISS or whatever. Everything is subject to change. We all know that. Life is subject to change. Everything. Delays and all kinds of traffic jams and an accident and you got to get off the track. Well, in the signal flow, that just happens. But that is not our concern. Your concern every day should be like, okay, what do I know? What is actually concrete? What is the truth of what's happening here? And, dispatch just send me something. I need to call, St. Paul and Broken Bones or Avits or whatever, whoever the band is, sends you this information, says, here's the routing, here's what you're doing. It's 2 weeks out or 3 weeks out or whatever. It might be 2 days out. Your job as a professional driver is to touch base with the tour manager at that moment. You have to realize that the office side is dealing with the money and the contracts, and even your dispatcher is dealing with computer screens with basic information, basic routing. In our industry, sometimes it's city to city routing, and the mileages are slightly different because a pickup in Brentwood is different than a pickup in downtown Nashville. Literally add 8 miles or 5 miles to it, which adds, an extra 15 to 20 minutes of drive time. So you have to take those things into account. When any kind of business manager is dealing with negotiations, obviously their thing is the bottom line. Dollar, keep it down. Hey, I got a 20-day tour. I want to keep it at $30,000 for the bus. Here's what we're dealing with. And then the business portion of the bus company is looking at, well, how can we make revenue from this and how can we keep close? And sometimes the price points are very, very close. And same with the trucking industry. They're going based on mileage, and you might have IKEA drop off, but it's actually 15 miles more than what they bid it on. So those things just happen. That's welcome to the real world. Welcome to, corporate America or whatever you want to call it. I'm sure it happens in other countries, but it's just something we have to live with and deal with. And it is your job. And like I mentioned in another video, is communication is paramount. It's number one. So if it is slightly different, well, then let them know. Communicate. You don't have to be a dickwad. Remember I said be kind? Be kind about it, be factual about it, be truthful about it. And getting to that, when your dispatch sends you something, it is your job to do the homework and touch base with whatever you need. Even if you're unsure about unloading times or how the operation works on the other end, call somebody. Get a phone number, figure out where you're going, call IKEA and figure out what loading dock and what their rules and regulations and how they operate a little bit. You know, just getting information is extremely important. It just shows that you're a professional. In the entertainment world, what we do is, you know, when I send out that information with like a routing sheet and, you know, hopefully I try and assign drivers buses, but I expect my drivers to call the tour manager, touch base, say, hi, here's who I am. I'm going to be your driver. You know, is there any details? Do you need me anything? Where are we? Are we picking up gear at sound check? Or am I just going straight to Chicago and picking you guys up? What time do you need me? Do I have a hotel? That's all kind of like little detailed information that you are responsible to get. Like someone like me who tries to manage a fleet of 55 to 60 buses, I can't get all that information. I can't spoon feed a professional. I mean, you're a professional. So those are informations that are partly on your responsibility plate, and you need to do those. So when you first get that, there's some questions to ask. And I like on the entertainment industry, one of the first questions is clarify the date, the time, and the location, and get the address. Clarify other things like, you know, do you need a Keurig? Here, I got K-Cups on here. Do you need me to get any groceries? You know, hey, how are you going to pay for that? Will I get reimbursed? You know, there's certain kind of questions that you can ask. And will I have a hotel on the pickup, or you want to give me a hotel buyout? Is there per diem on this tour? Are there food buyouts? All those kind of questions you can ask. And you don't have to, like I said before, it's like being kind. You don't have to ask questions like being a jerk. You can ask questions nicely and unoffensively, but there's nothing wrong with asking those questions. And, you know, clarify with your dispatch. If I sent you a routing sheet that said Chicago and then you found out, you know, no, they actually want me to go to Brentwood to pick up the gear first, and then they want me to go to Paducah, and then they want me to go to Chicago. Bing, 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 bing. Leasing needs to know, and we need to adjust things. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, because I said earlier, we're here to TCC, which is take care of the client. We will, but things cost money. And if it's adding mileage, we need to know that. If you had a dispatch that said, you know, in our case, sometimes Pioneer Coach, we give them a 2-hour leeway, but the bus cannot leave the yard till 10 p.m., say the day before the contract actually kicks in at midnight. And they ask you to, you know, hey, could you be at Kroger's in Hermitage at 7 o'clock? Well, bing, 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 bing. Again, in order for you to do that, you would have to be at the yard by 6:30 or 5:30 or 6 o'clock to do your pre-trip, which means you should be getting paid for that day. So you need to communicate that to the office. We might not know that because their business manager wanted to negotiate things at the cheapest or the best that they could do that was serve the artist financially. But the production manager needs certain gears loaded at soundcheck or SIR or whatever, and he needs you there earlier. Or they need you at Kroger's earlier because they're bringing a trailer with a bunch of gear there and they wanted to get groceries. Well, we need to know that so you can get paid, because I don't expect someone to show up 6 hours early for work and not get paid for that, but have to do the work. So it's all communication, and you don't have to be a jerk about it. You can be cool about it and just like, hey, here's what's going on, and thanks. And then leasing would obviously readjust the contract. And sometimes when artists see how much more money it costs them, they're kind of like, oh, okay, well, let's do it at midnight now. But it's all about communication. Communication is paramount. So basically in this podcast, I was just trying to tell you, TCB, do your work, do your homework, touch base with your people, and get as much information and questions that you need to have answered so that you can do your job and you can be a professional and you can like nail it. And for the truck drivers out there, it's the same thing. I mean, it's like knowing where you're going, knowing the cargo, knowing the docks, knowing when they can load, are they lumping, what are they doing? Get that information. It's pertinent. And even reach out to them. Why not? You reach out to someone at IKEA, or I used IKEA as an example. I don't know why, but could be Walmart. Who knows? But anyways, love you guys. Peace out. And we will continue these. I was actually thinking my next video podcast, my brother Bradley gave me this suggestion. He said, dude, you should do a selfie and a tour of how Pioneer Coach or any entertainer coach company custom builds these coaches, because we custom build. We get shells from Prevost from Laval, Quebec. They drive them down here and they're completely empty shells. And we custom build them. Sometimes there's a certain spec we follow, but we will, like an artist like Dustin Lynch or Casey Musgraves or 21 Pilots, they can come in and pick different things. I want tile looking this way on my backsplash. I want a room for a yoga mat, blah, blah, blah. And, place for my jewelry. And we will custom build it. And as long as they lock into a 2-year lease. So I'm going to actually, next video, probably do a sidetrack and do a little walkthrough of our Pioneer Coach and our custom build shop, etc. So stay tuned for that. Should be pretty cool. Anyways, peace out. Love you guys. And this is Neville Drew Shend. CDL Platinum, baby. Be the best you can be. Professional. That's it.